Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and our show today is the United Kingdom News and Culture. We have a special announcement, a shout out to our dear friend and one of our wonderful panelists, expert correspondents, Mr. Ian Pelham Turner, who is celebrating his 72nd birthday today. Yay! Happy birthday, Ian. We miss you and look forward to seeing you next week. Also to Mr. Simon MacDonald, who is not with us today because he is recovering from we can't say because it's his business. He's recovering from something and he will be back with us soon. We are wishing you all the best, Simon. And also to Helena Chard, who is not with us today. She is on holiday, but who is with us? It's DIANN FLOYD BOEHM. Let's bring her out as we are going to be talking about everything to do with the coronation. Hello, welcome.
Hi, Dr. Jacalyn, and happy birthday. And Simon, get better soon. And of course, Helena, we miss you. But today's a big day, right? Because we Americans have to pretend that we know anything about the coronation, but we're going to give it a good try, aren't we?
Well, I have to say that we started off well because we both are in purple, which is to recognize royalty. Exactly. So,
and we didn't even plan it.
We did not even plan it. It is amazing what we can come up with. We're just channeling together.
Yes, we are. But it is exciting. And, for all our UK listeners, please know we are excited about the big coronation. This is history, isn't it, Dr. Jacalyn?
It absolutely is. And I was always fascinated with Princess Diana. I always thought she was so beautiful and so elegant, and the clothes that she wore and the way that she looked at people and respected people. And she just was amazing. And I always thought how it would be fabulous to be a princess. I never really thought about being a queen. How about you?
Always a princess, because that was my nickname growing up, at least by my parents. As you know, my brothers call me Motor Mouth, but Princess Diana was
Princess Motor Mouth.
Princess Motor Mouth, right? But like you, Princess Diana, amazing woman, right? And we married at the same year. We had our first child the same year. So I felt there was this special bond. She just didn't know me. You know, I'm a Diane. She's a Diana. Why doesn't she want to be my friend? Hello.
I love it. There's always something too about wearing a crown, right? Isn't it special I think when I was younger, I had a tiara. I don't know what happened to it or why I was even wearing it. That's another story, but it just felt like you were transported into, can you show us, Diane?
I was like, looking, how many do I have? I have 6.
6. Can you show us any of them?
Well, I have to take you off screen.
I'll take you off for a second. So we are going to be sharing some information about the coronation. And again, as Diane had said, just disclaimer, we are 2 Americans doing our best to fill in for our friends who are the expert correspondents in the United Kingdom. So that being said, we will share the information that we have, that we've been able to research and to get for you. So Diane will be back. Here she is. Let's see what she has now. All right, Diane.
Here's 2 of them.
Wow.
Miss Deer Park, going to Miss Texas. Hello.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's like Miss America.
Now, how heavy is it, Diane?
Oh, it's very lightweight.
Okay. Wow. You use it as a frisbee.
because it's not real jewels like you have in England, right? They're not. No one's gonna kill for this, but
It doubles as something you use at the beach. You
yeah.
throw it
That's funny. But but it's precious, and I worked very hard, learned a lot. One day we can talk about the importance of preparing for scholarships and pageants. A lot of people are down on pageants, but it made me who I am today, confidence. So
Mhm.
very nice.
Beautiful.
And this is another one. So this
Oh,
one's like fits like this, kind of crooked. And I think
pretty.
in that particular one I won, but I also won, which was the most important to me because I won a scholarship for singing, and I beat out 300 girls in singing.
Woo!
That's pretty special, right?
Yes, it is.
I sang a combination of 2 songs. He touched me and brought it into Maybe This Time.
Yes, I'd love to have you perform that for us, Diane.
Oh my gosh, that was years ago.
You still have it. Come on.
So one of these years. But anyway, so yes to the crowns, and maybe that's a good thing to open up with what you and I learned about the tiaras. Will they be wearing them or will they not be? What do you think?
I think we're going to share the screen and see. Now, let me see which one. Let's see. How about if we start with this, the official website of the royal family? Let's just see what we can learn there, and we'll come back to
Okay.
tiaras.
Okay.
Okay, so again, if you're looking for how to find this, it's royal.uk. And we are appreciative of the fact that there's information here. Let's see the coronation. Let's go to this. Now, look at that jewelry. Now, that's real, right?
Absolutely. And I'm pretty sure they would tell you there's history with each selection that they choose to wear. And that's why I really hope, that I can't wait to learn all the history that goes with everything that's selected and why.
Absolutely. And Diane, it's also interesting, and I think you could speak to this better than I can, but you have to have the right kind of hair to have a crown or tiara on, don't you?
I'm sure the hairdressers work really hard to make sure that if they need to add extensions, so that you have enough up there.
Be something for it to sit on.
Exactly. And being a Texas girl, we know how to tease, as you can tell, and so that works really well.
Now, here we have the coronation procession. Look at how magnificent, amazing that
Isn't it?
is.
Yeah, the gold
It's all real
carriage.
gold.
That's from my understanding. We'll have to ask Ian then when they come back, but it's called the gold carriage. So maybe it's gold plated. I don't know. If it was, 100% gold, it might, melt. So I'm sure there's something to it.
All of a sudden, they're sitting on the ground. The occupants. It's amazing.
Yeah. You know how people, you've seen the movies where, let me know if this is really gold or silver, and they bite it.
Yes, I've seen that. Beautiful. Now, we saw this before. Helena shared this with us.
Yes, like
The
beautiful.
invitation.
The invitation. And there's something art that represents each part of the UK, so that people have to remember we have Northern Ireland, we have Wales, we have Scotland, right? And then we have England. So,
Absolutely.
and I believe it was King Alfred that united everything. I think he was the first king that united everything.
And it's interesting, Diane, just on a humorous note, there's nothing across this that says don't copy, or like, what if we just printed this out? It just showed up. Hi, I've got my invitation.
I'm sure they would have fraud. And we probably wouldn't be wearing the right designer clothes.
Well, you know how they always have watermarks across something that,
Oh, true.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
So, okay. So there's the invitation. And of course, Helena gave us the history of it. It's quite beautiful.
It is beautiful.
And it says the invitation has been designed by Andrew Jamieson. Is that how
Mhm.
you say that?
I
Jamieson.
believe so, Jameson.
Yeah,
And, he must just be so honored and thrilled. And can you imagine, that he gets to share with his grandkids and how it's passed down through history that he designed that invitation? I
it's
think that's pretty
incredible.
cool, right?
It is. Truly is.
Mhm.
Let's just see what this says here. The original artwork for the invitation was hand painted in watercolor and what is that? Gouache. And the design will be reproduced and printed on recycled card with gold foil detailing. And we see here the Green Man, an ancient figure from British folklore, symbolic of spring and rebirth to celebrate the new reign. It's beautiful, isn't it, Diane?
Yeah, it truly is. And I love the fact that it's recycled paper. It's honoring everything that King Charles truly believes, in the environment and taking care of the world. And he's reflecting it even in his invitation.
And I just think the amount of detail work just in this
Mhm.
one section,
Oh, incredible, right?
it's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I
We'll
have
have to read about that folklore in the sometime. That would be interesting.
I agree. Look at this section. Look at the two birds.
Just beautiful.
I have a hard time drawing stick figures and oh, and you of course are an illustrator, so you were really
No, I can't
able
do
to
that.
relate to
I'm
this.
just learning. So, no, nothing like that. That's a true artist. So,
I
but
wonder
thank you.
what the blue horse on the right, what that represents. Is there anything here that says, oh, here, a lion, unicorn, and a boar taken from the coat of arms of the monarch and Her Majesty's father, Major Bruce Shand, can be seen amongst the flowers. Her Majesty's arms are now enclosed by the Garter, following her installation as a Royal Lady of the Order of the Garter last summer.
Wow.
Oh,
Interesting.
really interesting.
Yeah. I
Okay.
loved it, in the days that families had different coats of arms and everything. I've always
Mhm.
found that fascinating.
Me too. All right, let's see what else we want to look at here. Tell me if there's anything you want me to stop on.
I just think it's just fascinating, the history overall. I mean, our country's so young compared to centuries and centuries that we're looking at these pictures. We're so fortunate that they've preserved history like this.
Absolutely. This here, we're looking at 12 newly commissioned pieces of music will be performed at the coronation of Their Majesties the King and the Queen concert at Westminster Abbey on Saturday, May the 6th. So that's the date, folks, in case you were wondering. It's May the 6th. Diane, do we know what time it's going to be starting?
No, I should know that. I apologize.
I think
Maybe
it's
it's
somewhere here.
maybe back on the invitation, but um, they're 6 hours ahead. So anyone listening, in your country, make sure you check the time zone. And they're live streaming it, so that's going to be wonderful.
Yeah, it doesn't say here.
Yeah. So
Okay. Well, we don't know.
yeah.
So we'll stop
They'll
sharing that
they'll
particular.
tell us, I guess, when it's when they're ready.
Yeah, absolutely. So will you be spending the whole day watching? Will you record and
No,
watch later? No.
I will not be spending the whole day watching. I must have watched King Charles' Wedding to Princess Diana over and over and over again. I was living in the Philippines, and they just played it rewind, 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 and I was like, "This is the closest to Cinderella that you'd ever see, right?"
Right.
And I watched that over and over and over again. But I will not be watching this over and over again. I will watch it, but um, I'm older now and I have family duties. So
Will you be dressed for the coronation? Will you be wearing robes, royal robes, and maybe your crown?
no. But if we were in Dubai, I'm sure there's all kinds of parties and teas that are going to happen, and people will be getting together. Because I know when Prince Harry married, there was lots of tea, and we all watched it together. It was really quite fun.
Well, it's also a good reason for people to get together.
It is a good reason. And again, to mark how you, what you were doing the day of, right?
Absolutely.
So,
Here we've got another website, which is from Town and Country Magazine. And thank you, Diane, for finding this. Everything you need to know about the coronation of King Charles, all of your questions answered. So I think this is interesting. What is a coronation?
I wish Ian was here, but I'm going to say what I believe it is. It's that moment where there's this beautiful blessing that takes place, where prayer gets takes place, because it's the belief that the good Lord chose them to be king or queen. And so in the coronation, this is the, if you don't mind me saying, the holy sacrament of 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 the transition from just a regular person to this moment that you are in charge, and you have the dignity, and they place that crown, and the crown means dignity, that and power, that you are blessed now, and people are expecting you to make as many correct decisions as a human being is able to. I think it's quite beautiful. And I believe Ian and them and Helena explained how he goes into this one. He's covered, though I think they're not doing it quite the same this where, so that we can actually see him, the priest blessing him, so that you can actually see what's happening. But it's a very sacred moment.
It's one of those once in a lifetime moments. And according to Town and Country Magazine, a coronation is defined simply as the act or occasion of crowning. And to Diane's point, it's a symbolic religious ceremony where the crown is placed on the monarch's head.
Yeah.
So that's super exciting. When is it? We already looked at this, and this doesn't say when it's starting either. Oh, here it is. What time? It's starting at 11 a.m., which is 6 a.m. Eastern time, 5 a.m. your time, Diane, in CST.
I'll just be dreaming about it then. I know exactly where I'm going to be.
You are going to be in Sleepland. Okay.
Yes.
And of course, we know the coronation is taking place at Westminster Abbey. And what is going to happen? So there's the recognition, and then the oath and the anointing. This is what you were talking about, Diane.
The anointing, anointing, thanks. And so I grew up Catholic, even though I'm part of the Anglican Church / Episcopal now. If you're in England, it's Anglican. If you're in America, it's Episcopal, because of the break of the two countries. But the sacraments are so important to us, and special and powerful, that even when you receive the sacrament of confirmation, which all of us do, and the bishop blesses you, it's just this moment that you truly feel the Holy Spirit coming. And then, marriage is the sacrament of holy matrimony. So this coronation and the anointing, it just has to be so powerful. And I think when you've waited all your life, like King Charles has, that it must be, I can't even imagine. What do you think, Dr. Jacalyn, the feeling? Because he's known his whole life that he will be king. And now the moment has come. But the great thing is he has all this wisdom that he's learned as he's prepared for this moment. So I can't even imagine what must be going through his mind when the bishop blesses him and anoints him with this special oil. I just think it has to be so powerful. And I truly believe the Holy Spirit will be there with him.
And if you think about it, Diane, how many people have this incredible opportunity to have this happen to them? And how many times does it happen in a lifetime? It is a sacred occasion, really.
Yeah, that is a beautiful way to put it. It is a sacred occasion. And for those who are honored enough to be there, I'm sure they realize the power of all of it. But like you said, just think in Westminster Abbey, how many coronations have taken place? How many coronations in Scotland before they became part of the UK? I mean, the history is phenomenal. And
It
I was,
truly is.
yeah, I was reading about Wales because I thought, were there monarchs, in Wales? But actually, the brief history that I read said that Wales never had was never put together as well as Scotland to have one monarch, that they were still divided in different territories. So they had different monarchs and before they became part of the UK. So it's just so fascinating. So then that means there was probably a coronation for each one of their leaders. But then that was so far back that, it may not have taken place the way that it does today. So,
It would be interesting, and again, happy birthday to Ian, but Ian and Helena, who've been covering the British royal family for so many years, and they'll be covering the coronation. It would be fabulous to find out what actually is involved in terms of being an expert correspondent and covering the event.
yeah, that would be fascinating all on its own. And they're just incredible. I mean, I look forward to Wednesday every time because I'm always learning from them, as well as Simon, who keeps us abreast of fun things happening in Scotland. So, yeah.
And of course, we do know from conversations we've had previously on this show is that covering an event like this is not always glamorous because you're working and you have to be spot on and you have to be fully present and engaged, and whether or not you have to run to the restroom or you're hungry.
I was just
the
thinking that. I
case
was like, I hope that porta potty is really close.
And by the way, porta potties are not one of my go-tos. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not.
Yeah, exactly. So no, behind the scenes is a whole different ballgame. So it would truly be wonderful to have their take on what all they went through. I bet you they're going to be exhausted and they're going to sleep for a long time.
Well, and I wonder when the coverage actually starts, because it starts before the event starts to stream, because you want to get everybody excited and ready to watch as the first moment starts. And I wonder what is the first thing that happens? Is it the ringing of the bells?
Oh, that's right. They're going to have those, what was that, 150 people ringing bells? So, yeah, I think that's probably what does happen first. But to your point, getting people excited, probably Ian and all the other people, they're filming and talking and so forth. They probably are first ones to know exactly which tiara is being worn and the history behind it, and they get to share all that exciting information, and first ones to know.
Yeah, they have to get the information because they need to know what they're reporting on.
Yeah,
They're covering.
exactly. And then, like, I would think they would know some of the history of these different selections of jewelry or tiaras, just like they knew all about the history of the crown that he's going to wear. And that's pretty powerful. And that to me is a book all in itself.
It definitely is. And from what I read, Harry is going, he's attending, and Meghan is not attending. Is that what you read also?
Yes, that's what I read. So
Any
hopefully,
thoughts about that?
let's see, to be diplomatic.
Yes, please be diplomatic.
I am so glad that Harry's going. I think the family needs to be together. And why not Harry be there with his dad? All of us have moments that we get upset with our parents. Of course, they're doing things extremely public, and it's very hard when you live in a fishbowl that royalty does. But you do know that's the life you were born into. But set all that aside and be proud, because you've watched your dad wait for this moment. And though it's very sad that we lost Queen Elizabeth, we realize it's part of life, correct? And so be there, not as a prince, But as a son, I think that's so important.
I agree with you. And
Mhm.
it's not like it's a baseball game or it's a recital, which are important. This is a once in a lifetime event, and that is your father.
Yes, exactly. And he's the one that hugged and loved you when you fell, and he was the one that was cheering you on, when you got good grades, etc. What parents do, and there's so much that happens in the out of the public eye that's private that but as a kid how your parent has supported you, and you can share. I mean, we know by pictures that King Charles was very hands-on after the loss of Princess Diana. So I'm so grateful that he's there, and brotherly love, I hope that takes place as best as it can. So
Well, I think just from, let's say, a wedding, when there's an event like a wedding, for example, people are really geared up and emotions are very high. And I would think an event like this, with the whole world watching, it's got to be the same thing to another degree. So hopefully there will be time, ample time before the coronation for the family to reconvene and hopefully mend some fences.
yeah, we can only pray for it, right?
Exactly. So I think we have one more website to take a look at. Let me see what we have here. Do you want to talk a little bit about the Crown of Scotland?
Well, with what little bit I know, and maybe when Simon comes back, or Simon, if you're listening, type in some information. But what sure, bring it up and then we can talk about it.
Yeah. So here it is. This is Wikipedia for anyone who is. And by the way, you used to get some little disclaimer if you went on to Wikipedia. That's they're raising money. But it says the base of the Crown of Scotland is a circlet of solid gold set with 22 large pearls and 20 gemstones from the old crown. It's beautiful, isn't it?
It is gorgeous. And it was, for those who don't know much history like me, I just learned all this. When Scotland was an independent country, this is what the crown the monarchs wore over time. I mean, the very first one didn't, but there's history to it. And what I read was this particular crown is the oldest crown that we have on the British Isles, which I just find phenomenal. And I think it dates back to the 15th century. So I can't imagine life before us, but it did happen.
Oh, DIANN, you are priceless. So here's more information. If anyone's interested, you can go over to Wikipedia and find out more.
And it's it's housed in the Castle of Edinburgh, I believe, and people can go and actually see it. And I read that this crown was on display. I'm not sure exactly how, but it was present when Queen Elizabeth's coronation, which I think is beautiful because again, it's showing a united kingdom, and that I think is so important.
As do I. As do I. DIANN, we're coming to the end of our show, believe it or not.
Already? Oh my gosh. I'm just getting started and we haven't even talked about the tiaras. Will they or will they not? I guess we're going to find out.
Let's talk about the tiaras, DIANN. What did you learn in your research?
That there was still under discussion whether different princesses will wear their tiaras, which I was really surprised because, that they just don't go out and buy a tiara. They select a tiara that, again, it has history to it. And so I do hope they wear their tiaras, and all of us can learn about the history of the various tiaras that are chosen. I think that's powerful. And also, again, I just love history. And so I just think that you have all your ancestors still with you in symbolically. And I think the tiaras should be worn. So I hope they will. And then, Dr. Jacalyn, are you ready for this?
Yes.
I read a tidbit that Princess Kate, she gave a hint on one of the local British shows that because everyone's dying to know what is she going to wear? What is she going to wear? Because she's such a fashion icon, and so they believe all she did was say a hint of blue. So we'll see if she has a hint of blue.
I'd like to
So,
know what celebrities are going to be attending.
yeah, that would be fascinating, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, right, yeah.
And the other
And
thing is, do they actually own the tiaras, or who owns them?
I think England does, and Scotland and Northern Ireland. I think they all have their own, and
But a person doesn't own it.
but a person doesn't own
No.
them. Even though you would hear like Queen Elizabeth loaned her this particular tiara, that particular tiara, I'm sure that they have them, some stored somewhere very safe.
They're
to
wired,
pass.
they have GPS. Like, woo! I wonder if they do put like a tracker on them or something. That would
I
make
probably
sense.
would.
We put trackers in dogs. Why wouldn't we put them on the grounds?
Yeah. Didn't Sean Connery have some movie where somebody he had to go and save the world because somebody, slithered in to steal a jewel or a crown?
Yes, yes. Oh, I love those movies.
Yeah, Sean Connery is amazing. And he's from the United Kingdom. So
Absolutely.
anyway.
Well, we miss our friends, our expert correspondents, and we wish them well, especially as they get ready for the coverage of the coronation. And Diane,
That's
thank
right.
you for all the research that you did to prepare for this show today.
Oh, you're quite welcome. It's exciting times, Dr. Jacalyn. And when you and I do wake up and probably watch the replay of everything, we can text each other. Did you see this? What did you like?
I might be up and watching it live. I don't know, Diane. We'll see.
Oh, well, good for you.
I'll give you a call and wake you up. No, I'm kidding. Diane, how can people reach out to you? Excuse me.
Oh, no problem. Sure. The best way is through my website, DIANNFLOYDBOEHM.com, DIANNFLOYDBOEHM.com. Thanks, Dr. Jacalyn.
Thanks, Diane, and thanks to all of you for getting on the bus with us today for the United Kingdom News and Culture. We really enjoyed being here. Our next show is coming up. It's called I'm Spiritual But, starring Anne Scotland. So please stay tuned for that. And again, bye, Simon. We're thinking of you. Bye,
Yes.
Ian. Happy birthday. And bye, Helena. And bye, Diane.
Bye.
Bye.